What's something you've done your whole life, only to realize recently that everyone else does it completely differently? Rinsing out clean glasses and cups before using them. Found out not everyone does that.
I store mine upside down so dust can't get in.
I do this, but I also sniff cups before I use them. I know all the ones in my place are clean because I live alone now, but a lifetime of living with others has taught me the cups aren't always clean. Can't get myself to use a cup I haven't sniffed first.
I do this now because sometimes there's just a little bit of soap residue on the inside of the cup from the dishwasher. I literally just found out that not everyone has a full internal monologue going on 24/7. I thought everyone had a voice in their head that narrates their day like a movie and discusses choices with itself. When a friend told me her brain is just quiet and full of images, I was so shocked. I genuinely don't understand how people function without a constant mental podcast playing in their skull.
Rolling up fitted sheets to put them away after laundering. Apparently, a fairly large population has a secret, yet complicated, method of actually folding them to put them away. I hide the roll within the folded top sheet, which I thought was brilliant.
I'm one of those people who folds things with precision. Laundry, origami, paper planes, napkins, gift wrapping. But I can't for the life of me fold a fitted sheet, and I have given up trying. After taking a bite of a cookie, I lick the edge to keep crumbs from dropping. A friend once laughed and questioned my sanity after witnessing this.
Yes, I press my tongue into the bite mark to get the crumbs out.
I remember being shocked to learn that some people primarily face the shower head. Watching my ex-boyfriend lean forward into the water and let the shampoo run all down his face felt so wrong. Of course, I do turn into the water to wash my face and stuff, but the natural position is to have it hitting my back and leading my head backward to rinse the shampoo.
I didn't realize it was odd that I sit down in the shower until discussing it with friends. I thought everyone dried their hands by shaking them like a raccoon that just touched something cursed. Apparently, most people use towels. I eat food in order, from least favorite to most favorite. Glad I'm not the only one. I like the lingering aftertaste of the thing I like the most. Cap'n Crunch berries and Lucky Charms taught me this valuable life lesson. Make life hard first, and the rest is easy, sweet deliciousness. It took me way too long to realize I was using toilet seat covers incorrectly. I used to tear out the center flap and lay the cover on the seat in a U-shape, but the flap is actually meant to hang down into the bowl at the front. When I lay on my side, I put the opposite hand in the air and just hold it there for a while. It's oddly satisfying. I am floored. I have done this my whole life and have never known anyone else who does this. Hello, family. It strikes me, as a mom who nursed 2 babies into toddlerhood, that toddlers do this while nursing. Maybe it's the human equivalent of kitties making biscuits.
Yes! My husband and I discovered years ago we both do this, and it's somehow relaxing. Only ever do it on the weekend.
I've learned not everyone washes dishes with hot water. Like, it has to be scalding hot, damn near burning my skin for me to feel that the dishes are clean. Edit, corrected my typo, so now I am clearly not trying to lecture the water.
A nurse handed me a little cup with 2 pills and a little cup of water. I took my pills, and she started laughing. She said something to the effect of, "I've heard people do that, but I've never seen it before." She was astonished. I had put a little bit of water in my mouth, then the pills, then swallowed. I've always sipped some water first, then the pills don't stick to my tongue and I don't taste them. Especially the chalky ones that start to dissolve on the tongue and then bitter residue remains, even after drinking more water. All that can be avoided by sipping water first. I do that too. I never understood why people would put the pills first, because they start to dissolve in their mouth, especially for pills like cortisone, where they're extremely bitter. Having taken around 84,000 pills in my lifetime, this is definitely the best way to do it. You only need a sip of water, and if you have gross-tasting pills, you can keep the water at the very back of your mouth, tilt your head back, and drop the pills into the water and swallow at the same time. Doesn't even touch the sides.
Putting on my socks before putting on my pants? Lol.
2 things: folding toilet paper and wiping while sitting and leaning to the side.
That's pretty normal. What's not normal is that I have a friend who reaches in between his legs and wipes back to front like a psychopath.
I drink from bottles or straws only through the corners of my mouth. My front teeth have always been particularly sensitive, so I avoid them having to touch liquids head-on.
I had really sensitive teeth, even used to use Sensodyne, until I switched to SLS-free toothpaste and mouthwash. Worth trying.
I whistle by sucking air in. I didn't realize it was strange until I was a teen. Now I can whistle both ways, so I can essentially whistle forever because I can breathe at the same time.
When going up or down the stairs, I always look at my feet. Just realized recently that not many people do this.
I would probably not fall, but I would feel very endangered if I did not look at my feet. I used to think that everyone sat down to put on their pants, but apparently most people just balance on one leg like a flamingo. I have been sitting on the edge of the bed to get dressed my whole life because I thought it was the normal way to avoid falling over. I felt so uncoordinated when I realized my roommates just hop right into them while standing in the middle of the room.
It is a normal way to avoid falling over. Some people are just more naturally cautious and careful than others. This is the kind of thing that I learned from my beloved elder, though. Like, if you can't afford to break your leg, do a few things to be less likely to break your leg. A stitch in time saves 9. That kind of thing.
I dry myself off inside the shower, so I don't get the bathroom floor all wet.
I'm wondering if this is why our bath mat gets so soaked. I get mostly dried in the shower and make sure to dry each foot as I step out. Sometimes I come into the bathroom and I have to make sure I'm not wearing just socks because the bath mat will be drenched after my roommates have showers.
Same. I also get most of the water off with my hands before I grab the towel so I'm extra dry. I had to have a long conversation with my now wife about this when we first moved in together while we were dating. She didn't understand that soaking the floor is bad.
When putting on a bra, I've always clasped it in the front and then twisted it around and pulled it up. I only recently learned that a lot of people simply put it on and clasp it in the back without looking.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.